name is Lonni Rutt. I'm the Vice President of Design and Engineering here at the Viking Yacht Company. I've been with Viking for 28 years. I started off as the project manager, dealing primarily with customs, and have moved my way up through the company to Vice President today. Building a better boat every day really revolves around all parts of the build. You're always looking at every part of the build and the construction process for how can you improve the product, how can you improve the efficiency. It works all the way through from the basic materials you put into the boat, through the build process, and right out through customer satisfaction. Vectorply came in around 2010 or so, when we started to look a little bit harder into some infusion and closed mold operations, and we were also reaching out to find a reliable supplier that could work with us and provide some technical support. We really started developing materials with them, and we were working with them on a lot of different avenues. The technical service side of Vectorply is really an ongoing process for us here at Viking. We're never really not in touch with them. We're always working whenever we have an idea, a thought, or even just a concern about things. When it comes to a new product, we'll bring them in very early in the design process and really sit down and say, hey, look, we want to optimize this build. When can we start looking at materials? And we bring them in. We have several meetings, we have discussions, and we do a lot of exchange of technical review with them. They've also provided us a lot of background information on new materials, as well as some significant support on the testing side. Infusion for us was initially started with a two-prong approach to first address some growing concerns we had over emissions by moving into a closed mold environment, and secondly, to really help improve the real reliability and the efficiencies of the build itself. Infusion was really something that was giving us a reliable, repeatable laminate schedule. When we started really chasing the weight monster, as we call it here, a lot of times we started to look at things and say, okay, we need to be able to maintain the structural integrity that we have now, and how can we reduce weight? Carbon was just a natural progression from the standpoint of being able to get some weight out of the boat, get weight out of the laminate structure, but maintain the integrity that we needed. As working with Vectorply in those areas, we really started to see that there was a way of getting the product that we wanted at a relatively good cost balance, and carbon really started to play a bigger role in that. As we've continued to work more and more towards weight reduction, optimizing the laminate schedules, and moving more into the infusion and closed mold process, we started to really look at ways of taking layers out of the build process. Obviously, one of the benefits to closed molding is being able to put dry laminate in, which weighs less than a wetted out laminate. We also looked at trying to minimize the amount of time that was spent loading the actual material into the boat. We had several conversations with Vectorply, 3A, working with the mahogany company on which ways could we really look to reduce the amount of laminate that we're putting in the boat, but also maintain and improve the integrity of those laminates. It seemed to be a natural progression moving from the carbon that we started using in other parts of the boat to really look at the carbon in the hull laminates for really optimizing. When you guys presented the idea of possibly building a quad material that included a hybrid of the carbon fiber, we thought it would be a natural progression to really improve both the load time and the structure integrity of the materials. We've used quad materials now as a result of that almost throughout all of our infusion process, and I would say probably in 80 or 90% of the material that we use here today involves some form of a quad material. The work together on the technical side with Vectorply and even on the material process side is an ongoing project. Every time we look at something, we look at how are we going to improve, build a better boat. One of the challenges that we've learned through closed mold applications has been cosmetics are one of the few areas that you have a challenge with. Over the last couple of years, Vectorply has been working, and we've been working with them in developing some print blocking materials. They've developed some materials that have actually incorporated the print blocking capabilities of some of their fabrics stitched into some of their structural materials, again, being able to reduce the time for load and also help us improve on the cosmetics. We're continuing to look at moving more and more of that material throughout our build process, whether it's here at the New Gretna facility where we're building the convertibles, or over at our Mullica facility where we're building the center consoles. We're always looking to improve that efficiency. When we build a new model, we've always looked to make the model either as fast or faster, equal to or lighter the model that we're replacing. Typically speaking, we've always set the benchmark for, well, what's the best performance we're seeing in the model that we have? How can we make it better? It's a continuing process. I don't think that there's any point throughout the design or product implementation that we're not in communication with each other.